Let's not browse over the fact that she's my long lost cousin.
Yeah,
guys, let's talk about it.
We discovered this.
Okay. So, today, back by popular demand, we got my girl Vic. So, you know, a lot of people loved our conversation from the last time.
I like that shit.
They said that they liked like the relationship that we had. It was very harmonious, you know. Like I was
flow effortlessly.
I was feeding off you was feeding off me, you know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta bring her back. The people want more. So now we're here. Today's episode is gonna be an interesting one. I think people at home better hold on to their boots because this conversation is gonna be a little roller coaster. Today's topic is gonna be a 2024 recap. So 2024 was a whirlwind of a year, for lack of a better word, for both Vic and I. You know, we went from having the best days of our lives to the worst days, to discovering ourselves, to, you know, inner growth, to having to cut people off, to new opportunities, to, you know, executing our dreams, and making shit happen. So all in all, last year was very eventful. But actually, let me start off this question for you.
Oh, wait on me.
If you had to choose the biggest lesson of 2024, what would that be and how did it shape you?
Oh, damn. That
was a mouthful of a question right there. She wasn't ready. For Vic to be speechless, that's the
most important lesson that I learned, honestly, I learned from men to put yourself first. For sure. If there's one thing I did last year, I put myself first, and I just embarked on this whole new journey, and it was an intense one. But yeah, putting myself first, that's the biggest thing that I did. I feel like a lot of my last year, I was out with like lanterns looking for myself in 2023, and 2024 was really about me reclaiming who I was, and that involved me, you know, stepping outside the box of what people were accustomed to seeing me as, and I completely revolutionized myself. Well, if you could describe 2024 in one word, what would that word be?
One word, 2024.
For me, revolutionary. Absolutely.
I don't even know one word describes 2024. Just
one. Not a quote, a word. Get back to me on that.
You know, yeah, because you know what it is? I would love to sit here and give a positive word.
No, don't gotta be.
No, because the whole year, honestly, 2024 was a great year for me up until the end. So
that counts too, though. If that's how you summarize the year, then so be it. You know, if that's, you know.
But the thing is, honestly, the way that my year went, aside from what happened at the end,
I
don't know. I feel like a whirlwind, like I said, a whirlwind. Like just when you finally settle in, life smacks you in the face with some other shit. And it's like, back in the wind I go. Here I go. All you know what I'm saying? For me, sure. I feel like my biggest lesson in 2024 was learning to walk on my own. And what I mean by walking on my own, I feel like I'm an only child. So being an only child, I think, has shaped me a lot in my life.
Absolutely.
And there's two types of only kids, right? There's the only child that wants to, you know, that's okay with being alone, because that's all they know, you know, they're okay with, you know, standing alone. And then there's the other only child that doesn't want to be by themselves, hate to be alone, so they make sure they fill the room up with people, and you know what I'm saying? I was always that type of only child. Like I never wanted to be alone, because solidarity scared me. Being alone with my own thoughts is scary. And last year for me, I wanted to finally push myself to be uncomfortable. And the way that I did that, I felt like I had spent my whole life dependent. Not just on my parents, on people. Whether like, oh, I need to wait on my girls to say yes so I could go out with them, or so I could do something. You know what I'm saying? I had to wait on this person so that I could, you know, do my podcast because I don't want to do it on my own. I need to wait for, you know what I'm saying? I was always dependent on someone, something, you know, oh, I need a man to make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just always dependent on something.
Outside of yourself.
And so for me, I think that I took it upon myself to really like dive deep in here, like, you know, and to really figure out what makes me tick, figure out why I operate the way that I operate. And I think that, you know, a big stepping stone to that was my solo trip to Houston. So we and you went to Houston together. We went to me and Vic went to Houston earlier last year for my birthday, which was amazing.
So much fun.
Love Houston. Shout out to H-Town. But I went to Houston again, and I wasn't completely alone out there. I had my friend out there, and I love you, baby. Julani, you held it down. B.O.B. hold it down. But nah, like she gave me a place to stay, like it wasn't like I was totally alone out there, but it was a big curveball to just sit here and say, let me book my flight with nobody to go with. And just fuck it, let me see what happens. And I booked it for 7 days, bitch. I was out there for a week. And when I went the first day, instant regret. Because my friend had to go to work that day, and I'm like, fuck, like here I am by myself. I got what I wanted, right? Now I'm fucking staring at a wall. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do for 7 days in Houston while my friend's fucking working? And obviously I know people in Houston, so it wasn't like I was totally in a foreign place, but still, like, and it was for that reason that I traveled there to begin with, because I was tired of depending on others to make decisions for me, tired of others to give me that confidence that I should have within myself to do stuff. So what set off this trip for me, like I remember, obviously we're New Yorkers, we're big fish in little pond anywhere we go, like, but when I was in Houston, so funny, this big fish turned into a little guppy. This big fish, this little, in New York, I was in Houston like so scared, like, because I was by myself. Like, I remember I was starving. And I did not get something to eat because I didn't want to go outside and find something to eat by myself. So I literally held out for as long as I could until my insides were starting to eat itself up. So I was like, it had been like 9 hours since I last ate a meal. Girl. So I was like, yo, I need to eat if I'm going to survive 6 more days out here. So I was like, all right, let's put our big girl pants on, and let's go outside. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I went outside and I forgot how to cross the street. I swear to God, I all I see is like cars coming, and traffic outside of New York is a little different. Definitely. They ain't not stopping for you. Nope. And I know, like, New Yorkers, we cross crazy. We jaywalk and we do all this shit. But, bitch, no. Those motherfuckers are going 80 miles per hour. They're not even stopping. You're going to have to, like, make sure there's a right opportunity to fucking book it across the street. Like, and I was so scared because I'm like.
Just imagining you. I'm sorry. Like,
yo, I'm a female, I'm 7 o'clock at night. I'm in a foreign state, and I'm super in my head. But I'm like, and literally I'm telling myself, I'm like, Stephanie, this is the moment. This is the growth that we were looking for. Like, let's fucking do it. And literally, I went, got myself something to eat. Yeah, there was guys hollering at me and shit, but I ain't used to. Like, once I went through with it, it was like, oh, okay.
It's not so bad.
Like, that was it. Like, and I feel like a lot of what happens to you in life, you end up having that same reaction. Like, oh, this is what I was afraid of the whole time. Like, it's not as bad as I thought it would be,
Girl, we make it worse in our own minds a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. That's why you just gotta go put yourself out there.
So for me, like, this solo trip was definitely, like the word you use, revolutionary, because it's something that was out of my norm. I don't go out by myself. It's not what I do. And it's so funny because, like, I did that out there, but I was having a hard time keeping that same energy when I came back home. It's like, oh, why do I feel like I need to hit up my girl now to go do, you know what I'm saying? Like, here I am doing shit by myself elsewhere, but now it's like I'm falling back into the same thing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't know if it's because I'm at home, because I'm comfortable, like, you know what I'm saying? But that for me was probably one of the biggest major lessons is doing stuff by myself and being okay with it. Like, outside of that trip, I was just trying to find ways to do, like, taking dance classes by myself, like doing Pilates, going to like a pole dancing class, like just random ass shit that I always wanted to do, but I never did because I was always waiting around for someone to do it with me. So, and I feel like life passes us by because we're always constantly waiting for that opportunity or for that moment or for those friends to come through, or, you know what I'm saying? And we miss out so much on life because we're waiting for others. Like, Definitely. Why don't we live for us instead of living for, you know what I'm saying?
I just reposted something the other day that says, what's the most dangerous game to play in life? Thinking you got time.
Ooh.
And that's true. Ooh. I think that's really true. Like, we really underestimate, like, yo, we're so young and all we really have is the now. And a lot of people fear this notion of death, but y'all don't even live your life.
Well, you told me this a while back. A lot of people are alive, but they're not living.
Because you know what it is? It's like you're not present, you're not intentional, you're just a stranger in your own vessel.
Just existing.
You know, you could just tell me all about what's going on with the Kardashians, what's good with you, why you keep engaging in this self-sabotaging as behavior. Take a look at yourself. People do radical ass things to avoid, it's really hard to admit you're the thing getting in your own way, but it's a beautiful thing, like unbecoming and really holding a mirror to yourself and being like, I don't really like
but
what
it's
I
easy
see.
to put the focus on someone else when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Though. And that's why the people that are most judgmental are the people that are probably doing the least. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they're so hypercritical of others because it's basically a projection of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they're lacking. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. They say also those that criticize often, they don't even qualify.
Yeah.
And that's a freaking fact. It's funny how you said that about how you took the time this year to really be alone. So similarly, although I've always been okay with doing stuff on my own, this last year I got out in 2023 of August. I left my daughter's father. 12 years I was with that man. So this
that was recent. Why did I thought it was longer?
It was in August 2023. We were like roommates, girl. That typical live together, but we not together. And then one day I said, "Fuck this," and I literally had this little window of opportunity, and I dove through it, and it was the best decision I ever made. So you're with someone for 12 years. I have a kid with him, and he's all I've ever known. I felt like I had to undo that man from my skin and refine myself and reclaim myself. But I think 2024 for me was me doing that and coming back alive. Best year of my life, craziest year of my life. But I love who I've become because of it. And you should be very proud of yourself, because I've noticed that you really, really went entirely out of your comfort zone for 2024. You was just doing the thing in spite of it. So you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. And I mean, even also another thing that I felt was crippling for me is like, I've always been such a hopeless romantic. I've always been someone that, and with that being said, I feel like I've always led with my heart.
Do you feel like there was a large part of you that centered men in your life?
100%. I've been boy crazy for as long as I could remember. And I honestly, for a long time, I've dedicated a lot of my time and energy to men.
And I think
but it's not because I want to sleep around and be with so many men. It's because I'm looking for the one. I want this fairy tale wedding, this fairy tale relationship. I want this fairy tale life. And because of that, why are you? Capo cracks me up. All I see is the camera.
Like, really,
all
girl?
I see the camera's just slowly. And
you gotta smack you with that mic.
That's too funny. All right, so it was the subtleness for me. All right, cool. So yeah, like I've always centered it, like you said, and because of that, I feel like I've missed out on a lot, and I had a hard time all right, so this is what I was telling you about finding happiness within yourself, because if you don't find happiness within yourself, no matter where like what external thing you're looking for will not bring you that sense of happiness, whether that's money, whether that's men, whether that's clout, fame. Like if all that could make you happy in the short term, but after you get that, then what? You never really address the real issue. So you're going to still feel unfulfilled, and you're still going to be chasing for that feeling of happiness that you are not going to get no matter what you attain, because you're not addressing the real root, which is
that short-term dopamine feedback is what people keep.
So I always was holding on to, a man's just was gonna make me happy. That's what I'm missing. That's why I'm not happy in life. I'm not going, I don't have that man building me up, showing me love, going out on these dates, making me feel good about myself, making me feel beautiful. Like, why, especially women, why do we put so much emphasis on the male gaze and just men as a whole?
Society,
like it's something that we value so much. Like we would rather look good for a nigga. We would rather look good for some dude. You know what I'm saying? For some dude to be like, damn, you look good. Instead of for us to be like, wow, I look so great. I feel beautiful in my own skin. Like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I really don't know why women operate like that, but I think that I do know. It's probably because we're built. It's construed into
especially in Hispanic culture, girl.
Yeah.
I
moms be raising their daughters to cater to men and all this stuff,
and the men be there doing nothing. You know, that's
kicking my feet up. Like,
that was actually a revolution for me too. I decentered men from my freaking life, and that's a part of the reason why I stayed with my daughter's father for so long. My parents weren't together. I wanted to have that, but at what expense? I literally felt dead on the freaking inside, pulling through for my daughter. And when I left, wow, like it's like literally God moved mountains for me. Like this unblocked my blessings.
You were blocking your blessings.
Oh, big time.
That's
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Best thing I ever did was decenter men from my life. And that's why I told you, one thing I learned from men is they put themselves first, and I started implementing that in a healthy way. I'm not like super selfish and cruel, but sometimes, you know, when you're like that, you're gonna hurt some feelings. You're gonna hurt some feelings.
Can't
and
be
I
so
had
much
to
of
be
a
okay
giver
with that. You know, and I've always been someone, people know me as being, you know, direct and humorous, but I made a lot of really hard decisions. I cut off people that I really, really, really love, because for me, it's love ain't enough in these cases. You know, it's like
you could love someone and still hurt them.
Yo, because you know what it is?
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, but
you could love somebody and still stab them in the back.
I also got very clear on what love is and how it looks like, what it is, and I emulate
What's
that
your
myself.
definition of love?
Oh, spiritual growth, 100% in every sense. People think that whether it's a friendship or romantic, like if you're with someone and they're not challenging you to do better, it's not love. And you know what? That's why do you think in a lot of dynamics, not to make this a gender thing, it could be men or women, they will always go back to a weaker person because they can't rise to the occasion to be who you need to be with this person. Yeah, it's a big one.
What was it that you said that to me that one time? You said you're not running away from.
Oh, you're not running away from me. You're running away from who you gotta be to be with me. Yup. That's
and
a fact.
That shit really hit home when you said that, because that is so true. And sometimes, especially women, I know that are out there watching this right now, like, you know, there's come a point where a man has made us feel rejected.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
a man has made us feel less than, where
inferior.
A man has made her feel like, damn, what's wrong with me?
And
but
it's not you.
But girls, let's ask ourselves, and even men, let's include y'all in this conversation, because it could be the same for you. A woman could have made you feel a type, you know, like you were less than, like you weren't enough.
That's true.
But again, was that just a reflection of them? What they lacked? And that's why, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't step up to the plate for you. Like, I don't think it's a you thing. And obviously, you know, there's a person out there for everyone.
Of course.
And if this person isn't valuing you, cherishing you, and seeing that, and it's an uphill battle, you constantly trying to show them who you are, like, improve yourself to someone.
Yeah, I can't be
then
doing
you
that.
don't got, then baby.
What am I auditioning for?
There. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
You know what it is with men too that I always take into account, because I'm not one of those women that sit here talking about how men ain't this, men ain't that. I've learned a lot from men, both good and bad things. But what I must say, a common scenario that I've seen with men, aside their lack of emotional intelligence and navigation, is that there is a point in their life where they opened up to a woman and they made them feel like, oh, you can't have these feelings. Oh, they have as much feelings as we do, whether people want to admit it or take it into account or not. What? And then they make them shut down. They're like, this is why I don't. And it's a perpetual
I'm going to take
cycle.
accountability for that right now, actually, because this reminds me of that conversation that we had in the car at the last recording that we had.
Yeah.
How you were asking me why does it make me feel uncomfortable to see a guy overly emotional, or to see a guy
we did talk
express
about
himself.
that.
And I never knew how embedded, you know, this machismo was in me, like this toxic masculinity thing that, you know, and a lot of females, believe it or not, we add to it. You know, we add to the pressures of men having to uphold a certain, persona, you know what I'm saying, of being this macho, everything like slides on me, I don't give a fuck, you know, I'm nonchalant, like, because, you know, again, society, this is how men are supposed to act, right? And sometimes when women see this, it's like you said, they don't allow them the space to really
be vulnerable and be themselves and talk about their emotions. They make them feel like they're a little bitch or they're inferior for it. So of course they're gonna hold it in. Yo, there's this very good documentary talk about the mask we live in, and it talks about
the mask we live in.
Yeah, it came out like 10 years ago, and it talks about the society and the upbringing of men and all of that stuff. Because think about it, you know how they always say boys are easier to raise? No, you were pretty much saying they're easier to neglect, because why the hell are there so many wars and violence and all these things from men?
That's like, a fact.
Yeah, it's true.
They're easier to neglect.
It's not true. But it's
that
not,
really just made me think about it in like a different.
You will hear from so many people that as a boy they never heard I love you, they were not hugged, they were not kissed. That shit affects you.
Then why do we think men act the way they do towards women?
Exactly. And you know, yeah, man, it's just, you know, ultimately when you're an adult,
perpetuating cycle.
Listen, as a kid you cannot help what happens to you, but as an adult you need to fix that shit,
right?
You know, and
that is one thing I will say. Yeah, no matter, like, let's say you were raised to be a certain way, and yes, you're a victim of your upbringing sometimes, but you could only play the victim card so long.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, like, yeah, you were raised this way, but it's up to you to end the cycle, to end the, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
To break that like generational curse or whatever it is that haunts you or
you know what a lot of people do too is that they're so accustomed to being a certain type of way. Obviously it's challenging to change, but they'll use it as a crutch for their inadequacies instead of bossing up and actually doing something about it. You know, like they'll sit there and sulk like this is just the way I am.
Yeah.
No, this is who you choose to be. At this point, you're choosing this shit.
We don't want to hear that. Girls and boys, we don't want to hear that.
We're too grown for that shit.
It's never
now.
too late to change.
Never.
I hate hearing that because even my mom's like, oh, yo siempre he sido así. Like, it's not about you always been like that, but why can't you change?
The older, the harder, girl.
Just because you've been like just because you've been like that, does that mean that you were operating like is that the correct way to be? You know what I'm saying? Not to say there's a right and wrong way, but still there's betterment. There's always ways to evolve. Yeah. Not to stay the same and keep that same philosophy for 60 years. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, that's how it happened for me. I woke up one day, like going off what I said about my daughter's father. I woke up one day, I'm like, yo, get up, Victoria. What are you doing? Get on with yourself. You're like dead right here. And it was such a great thing. But the older people you will see, they're very stubborn and rooted in their ways. You can't challenge their ideas. And that's why at a certain point, all I could do is what's in my control and be true to myself and be an example of what I wish to see in the world. I can't change you. You're 60. You're miserable. You're going to be this way. Stay that way. Really. Stay that way. You know? You can't control that shit.
So in 2024, what would you say is the biggest accomplishment that you had? It could be like a personal one, like something personal growth, like or you know something that you did.
My self-discipline.
Your self-discipline is an accomplishment,
and especially with how I respond to things. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I didn't, you know, but that was my year of also going off the walls, but also coming back to myself and really being solid and knowing who the fuck I am and standing in that 10 toes down. Everyone going left, I'ma stand right here because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, there was a lot of people that I clinged on to that I let go because I'm like, nah, like this is not a representation of who I am. Hardest things. I cut off someone who was like one of my best friends. I never could have saw my life without her, but then like, you know, something happened and it just permanently altered my brain chemistry because I felt like, I'm like, who is this person? I don't even know you anymore.
Messy and name drop?
No, never that.
I'm just kidding.
I got too much respect. No. And you know what's crazy?
We don't need to because I know.
No, you know what's crazy? But I could sit here and tell you, in spite of that, right now, I love her, but. Nah, I love. It's no so fuck you
for hate in our hearts.
No, I love you, but fuck you.
That's a
Stay
real
over there.
Grown, mature person though. Like, to not have any room in your heart for hate.
Shorty probably hate me. I don't care because for me it's all love because everything
that's
I did
low
was
vibrational.
out of love.
Anyone that hates anyone, that's
I don't care because I don't regret my decision. I did it for me, and you know, like honestly, what blew my mind more is doing that and how. It didn't it was heartbreak. It was harder to do that than leave my baby dad. To be honest,
it's literally a heartbreak.
Yeah, but
a friend, a partner. It literally
again
feels like that,
when
loss.
That happened. God started moving mountains for me too, and I would doubt myself, but I would get shown constantly that I made the right decision. You know, growth hurts. It'll hurt sometimes. You'll doubt it. You're going to feel like you did the wrong thing, but you just got to hang tight and stay true to yourself. That's a large part of it. Those moments of doubt, you're just like, nah, just stay 10 toes down.
There's beauty in pain.
Yeah, of course there is.
There's
in the midst of chaos, there's always opportunity, girl.
There's always a silver lining. That is one thing that I will say. Always. Are you raising your hand?
Yeah. from the audience.
Like what? All right, so yeah, we have our live audience has something to say.
That was me when y'all was on here.
You want to hop on?
No, it's okay. I'm just saying.
Okay, no, because
let me tell you something.
Y'all could come and interject if you want.
Come sit on my lap. Tell me what you want for Christmas, boo.
If you guys want to be a part of the 2024 conversation.
It's just so funny.
Okay, so
the patriarchy. Yeah.
So the people agree. The people agree.
The people have spoken.
Yes, we love that. I think to answer my own question, I feel like my proudest accomplishment probably is this podcast. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of my proudest accomplishment.
You know what else, Steph?
What?
You permanently impacted my fitness journey. Our trip. Girl, I told you, remember when we left in March? I said, I ain't stopping, and I haven't. And it's about to be a year. And I told you, I promised you, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going.
You did say that.
I have not missed a week in the gym since.
Couple, enter round of applause here.
You better clap, couple.
Nah, not for real. Like, you really, again, what you said, you stuck to.
Yep.
And that's something that, my friends, I'm getting ahead of myself, but that is a New Year's resolution for me. And I read this. I'm gonna put y'all onto some game right now. I read a book, right? And I know you read it, The 4 Agreements. Ooh. It's about Miguel Ruiz or something like that. And one thing I'll be honest, I haven't finished it, but and I haven't finished it.
A lot of principles,
in like 2-3
solid
years.
ass principles in that book. No,
but listen, one thing that stuck out to me though, I will say, is one of the 4 agreements is be impeccable with your word. And what it talks about with that is the power of words. Words hold a lot of weight, and what life. You put out into the universe will in turn come, like it'll
Do you know why they say words create life? If you look at your voice box, first of all, it literally looks like a vagina. Let's start with there, and that's where life comes from.
I've never actually looked at a voice box. Could you look it up?
And second of all,
I kind of want to show the people what a voice box looks like.
Abracadabra means? It means I create what I speak.
Really?
Yep, that's what abracadabra means.
Abracadabra, I create what I speak. I love that. Now me about to get that tatted on me. Abracadabra. That shit sound wavy.
Pull a rabbit out the hat.
Nah, I mean, not the abracadabra sounds wavy, but like the meaning behind it. So it's Latin, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
You saw it? You looked it up?
The whole coochie.
Yeah, I told you. Look.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Could you enlarge it for the put it in front of the camera? Oh wow. Wait, could I see it?
Yeah. So I think in nature, those things will
Oh my god. All right, y'all don't want to know what I just thought of.
I think I have an idea. We telepathically communicated.
Like,
I know what I know already.
I would say it because there's no filter on my show.
Let me see if it's what I thought.
I'm just thinking about like that's where the dick.
Yeah,
going.
you see, I knew it.
That no wonder sometimes that shit be like, don't you get it like a sore throat sometimes?
Baby,
like,
I don't got the reflexes down there. I don't be feeling nothing.
oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
but okay, so. Yeah, no, so like proudest accomplishment. So for me, yeah, it honestly would be the podcast. And again, because of abracadabra, I literally said for the longest, I sat on this idea for a year plus.
I remember when you first brought it up to me. I
sat on this for so long, and it wasn't until again I literally was like, I'm tired of waiting.
You just freaking did it.
What the fuck am I waiting for? Let me just fucking
fuck
do it.
We ball.
And if it goes nowhere, then it motherfucking goes nowhere.
Can't
but
say
at
you
least
ain't
I
tried.
tried. Exactly. See? So that's literally that's been my philosophy. And with like my resolution for this year, I just want to be able, if I say I'm going to do something, I want to execute. And if I feel like I'm going to half-ass it or I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do it, I don't speak on it.
Okay.
Until I'm ready, because I don't like, and it also, it's a character thing too. Like you don't want to be known as that person that's always talking about I'm gonna do this, that, and they never end up doing shit. Because I know everybody knows that one person in their life that's always got the next best up and coming thing going on, and then
talk about it, but they ain't about it.
It falls short or ends up going nowhere. Like I know we all know that person. So I just didn't want to be her. So. You know, that's one thing I will say was a big takeaway for me from last year. Oh, wait. Ooh. Let's not browse over the fact that she's my long lost cousin.
Yeah,
guys, let's talk about it.
We discovered this.
Okay, sorry, I'll start the story and then you'll end it. Okay.
Okay.
Boom. It was February 2024. We're getting ready for our trip to Houston. We're, booking our flights, our hotels. We're figuring out all the kinks of the trip and whatnot. It's down time to like book the flight, or I don't know.
Yeah, you already booked yours. Okay. And you were waiting for me to book mine.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then she sends me her flight information, and she gives me her whole full last name. I'm not gonna say it just in case I don't want nobody to look you up. No. There's crazy people out there. All right, but just know she gave me her whole name, right? And it was the first time I ever seen her last name. So I was like, wait.
Mind you, we've already known each other for like freaking 5 years. 5 years.
We know each other. When did we?
Dance
2019.
Class,
yeah.
Elegancia.
Isn't that crazy? 5 years already, guys.
Yeah, time flies.
Okay, so boom. So we're like, yo, like that last name is familiar. Like my uncle by marriage, but my uncle's last name is XYZ, and I'm like. It's not a very common last name. That's the only reason why I was like, oh wow, like that's why I was like, oh, I made it a point to like mention,
emphasize.
Like, yeah, I was like, wow, like that's what a coincidence that you have the same last name. And then she goes,
is your uncle named blank?
Yeah, she was like, you could say his name.
Is your uncle named Norman?
And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, is his son's name Gregory and Michael?
I want the family tree, bro. I'm like, we need to know.
I'm like, yeah, the fuck it is. How do you know that? Bro, next thing you know, she ends up being my uncle by marriage's actual niece. like by
Literally.
blood.
Yeah.
Like, so my aunt that's been married with him for 20 plus years was her long lost uncle that she hasn't seen since she was like, what, 10?
Yeah. I haven't seen him in.
And she's damn near. Not damn near.
I'm in
She's
my
in her
30s.
all right.
I'm a geriatric millennial.
And but mention what happened after the fact.
I mean,
you were trying to look for your father.
I reached out to my father because
Tell him that story.
I tried to rekindle it, and it was good to reach out to him to make that effort. It was I needed that, because it's been so many years. I felt like as a grown woman, I have to make an effort. But I also learned a lesson in that is that sometimes you gotta love people from a distance. And yeah, I'm glad I made the efforts to reach out to him. It was a beautiful thing. I needed that for my closure. But girl, it reminded me why I stood the fuck away.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful thing. That was such a dope thing to discover.
It doesn't happen often.
What the hell? We're cousins?
What for me, it was really heartwarming for me because of your story with your father.
Yeah.
You'd been wanting to reconnect with your dad for quite some time.
And I took it as a sign.
And you wanted to reconnect with that side of the family as well, and you never knew how or where they were at. And the whole time the link was
right there, right under my nose.
Isn't that crazy? I think life
there.
has a way of working, and people are put into your life for a reason. I'm a believer in destiny. I'm a believer in fate, and divine timing, and that the universe always has a plan for you.
Absolutely.
People are in your life always. It's either going to be a lesson or a blessing.
But regardless, there's always something to learn.
There's always something that you could take away from it. Literally, it's always going to be one of the two. A lesson, something you learned from it and make sure not to do it again, or a blessing, something that came into your life and it was exactly what you needed.
I feel like time is measured in lessons learned, because you ever hear people perpetuating cycles and like, why does this keep happening to me? It's like the same picture in a different frame. Well, you didn't learn what you needed to the first 12 times.
I'm not gonna hold you. That's what had happened to me with men. Like I just kept finding the same problem in a different person.
What it is?
And it was like, what am I doing that's attracting the same person in a different body? Like it's obviously something that I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I could only blame someone else for so long.
Exactly.
Like there's obviously things within my pattern and my behavior that's attracting these certain types of people that I'm trying to stay away from. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's how I reclaimed my power last year too. I only focused on the things I can control, and sometimes it was very challenging to me. I'm not saying I'm a controlling person or anything like that, but it's just like sometimes I'm like, yo, why are you like this? But I can only be accountable for my feelings are my feelings. They're valid no matter what, but how you behave and how you respond to shit is the most critical thing,
Your reactions,
absolutely.
Your reaction will be the determining factor.
You can burn a bridge eternally
of whether you have peace or not in your life. I feel like that's a big part.
And you know what? People have a misconception too when it comes to peace. They think it's because, okay, kumbaya, we're just going to live this peaceful life. It's you able to maintain that in the midst of chaos. It's within you. It's not, of course, it has to do with your environment and how you make people feel, but you got to be able to hold that shit even in the midst of chaos and everything around you.
I think that what helps with that, in my personal opinion, at least what helps me keep some type of peace in my life is focusing on the things in my control.
Gratitude. And
lot of the times things that people stress over and lose sleep over are things that they cannot control.
And that
they have literally they cannot do nothing about it.
Self-sabotage in a way.
And imagine that's going to eat at you immensely if there's something that's bothering you and you have no control to fix it, but yet you're losing sleep over it. You're never gonna come to terms with it because it's not something you have power over. The only thing you have power over is literally your life and your reaction.
It's a perspective thing,
your reaction to things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your perspective. I think that it's a lot of people need to work on their perspective.
Absolutely. It's literally the lens of life. And you know what else I mastered last year too? Because I'm very big on my connections. I'm a very sensitive person, but I have my
and not
balance.
Sharing your energy with just anyone.
I'm very big observing, not absorbing now. But also for me,
insert here, observing, not absorbing.
I learned to master the difference between attachment and connection. And in the midst of that, mastering the art of detachment. And that one is big. You hear it thrown around. Social detachment, master the art of detachment. But really doing it, it comes in the midst of me realizing how temporary everything is and how everything is genuinely an experience. And again, piggybacking off of that, how you show up and how you are. That's why I always leave things with a light heart. I don't ever gotta stress if it was me because I show up genuinely. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm not an actor either. I come as I am. And, you got to take pride in that. And I feel like that was a way I reclaimed my power too. for sure. Detachment ain't no joke. I cried a lot. I never cried and laughed so much in my life. 2024 for real.
Wow.
time
Girl,
was
if I could
had.
sit here and say 2020. Look, guys, like 2024 for me started off like it was a year of travel for me. I went went to Miami twice. I went to Houston twice. You know, I was, accomplishing things. I did the Onyx competition. I did my podcast. Like I was really, I feel like I was, I had the ball rolling finally. I was strengthening my relationship with God. I really feel like I finally had some sort of clarity and like I was moving in the right direction. And then life humbles you. Life humbles the fuck out of you.
It comes to test everything.
It does. And I'm not gonna get super in depth in about this because it's still super fresh, but for those that don't know, I did recently lose my father. And that for me, and it's so funny because grieving is very interesting, right?
What stage are you at
I'm
right
in denial.
now? Yeah.
100%. I know without undoubtedly I'm in denial because it feels, I'm numb. Like I literally, there's a point where I'm like, why don't I feel nothing? I'm numb. Like it literally feels so fake.
It's like a coping
like
mechanism.
It doesn't
to
feel
protect
like
you.
it's real. You know what I'm saying? I still wake up thinking it hasn't clicked for me yet. You know what I'm saying? And even before this, fuck TMI. It's not TMI. This morning, I bawled my eyes out this morning, or off the wake up. One memory came to mind about my dad, and here I am in tears. And people sit here and tell me like, damn, you're so strong. How are you able to still go about your life while, XYZ happened? And like, nobody's prepared to go through this type of stuff. And I know that there's different people out there, and I know there's other people that would go through my situation and it probably wouldn't even leave the house for weeks and months on end. I knew that for me, I didn't want that to be me because I am someone and yeah, it's a blessing or a curse, but I have this what's the word?
Unwavering?
No. Instead of coping, what I do is what's the word I'm looking for? Like I run the other way.
Okay.
There's something not detached. What I'm getting at is like
you disassociate?
I guess so. Like, all right. So
just run
instead
away.
of me feeling, instead of me sitting here and feeling, like this morning, I caught myself bawling my eyes out, and I did not have a grip over my emotions. I didn't like it, so I shut down. I was like, stop, boom, we're not doing this right now.
Normal coping mechanism.
Shut down. And for me, I don't want to sit here and think about, my dad or feel these emotions. So I just constantly keep busy. Constantly distract myself. Constantly, I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to the gym. I'm making a move. I'm making moves here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm constantly trying to avoid coping. I think that's really what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an avoidant.
Avoidant, yeah. We talked about this too.
Something unavoidant. I think there's a term that's like that, and I feel like that's what I've adopted. And obviously, it's not easy, and I have moments where I don't even want to say I'm weak because it's not weak to
not
feel,
at all.
to be sad and everything. But my take on it for anyone that's ever lost anyone, obviously, it's not no words that I could give anyone is going to be any consolation for any type of loss, especially if it was someone that was very close to you. I feel like what it is, it's like it's what I've always said. It's like when life hands you lemons, like, what are you going to do? Like, life isn't easy. It's not meant to be easy. It's not designed to be easy. Because if life was easy, you would never appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you appreciate it because of the hard moments that you've had. Those highs those lows that make you appreciate the high, and vice versa. So for me, I don't get me wrong. There was a moment where I was like, why? Like, why is this happening? I am questioning God, why? But at the end of the day, like, you're going to turn your head in knots if you're trying to sit here answering that question. No one's ever going to know why. Things happen the way that they should. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't understand it, but we have to accept and learn to adapt.
Acceptance is key.
And I feel like I'm learning to accept it. For me, I was raised on tough love, so I feel like that's also why I operate the way that I do. Like, do
you feel like that way of operating has served you well?
Tough love?
No, I mean how you choose to deal with.
Oh no, I think that to a certain degree it's okay, but there's moments where because I've been avoiding this for so long and pushing it off for so long, it's like, all right, peep, I'm brushing it under the rug. the rug has gotten big now. There's a lump in the motherfucking rug. And here I am tripping over it every fucking chance I get, tripping over it until what? I end up making a hole and all that shit just leaks out.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, that's like the analogy I'm using. So you could get a visual of like what it really like for me. Cause I'm fine until I'm not. Until there's some trigger where it's like, poof, combustion. Like, so, you know, that is something that I want to work on, but it's not something that comes easy to me or natural to me. So I've honestly been toying with the idea of therapy.
Oh, baby, you already know.
And I already know how you feel about it. And it's funny because and this is going to segue into one of my goals for this year is really to maybe find a therapist that I'm comfortable with and being okay at the idea of therapy. Because guys, I want people to keep in mind, I'm very progressive, but in certain issues and instances, I'm very traditional.
We're not linear, babe.
But
you know?
when I say that to say, you know, I wasn't raised to have to go to somebody to help you with your problems. I was kind of raised on, you know,
thug it out.
Yeah,
figure
it out on your own. You know, put your big girl pants on and keep it the fuck pushing. Not sit here and cry to somebody about your problems that they don't even probably give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? But that's always the mindset that I've always had on it. So that's why I was like, oh shit, I'm going through so much in my life, but I gotta just take it on the chin and just keep going. And while that's I don't
maybe helped you in the moment.
Yeah, like that.
But in the end, it comes back around.
Yeah,
that's why they always say the only way out is through. The only way out is through. And you know, that was let me tell you something. I've been in therapy for a long time, and the best advice I could give you, and this might sound like take it how you want, get you an old black woman as a therapist.
You know, you're the second person to tell me that.
I swear to you, that woman came and collected me. She an old school Southern black woman. I love her so
Shout out to
much.
her.
Oh my goodness, changed my life.
No, she's giving you a lot of
Changed
gems,
my life.
bro.
Yeah,
you be hitting me with some one-liners. I'd be like, damn.
You know what she told me? She goes, the price of anything is the amount of life you're willing to exchange for it. I said,
bro, like what?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And she says everything is a choice. She goes, you think love is a feeling? Love is a choice. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, girl, she don't even take new clients.
She
you know
said
what's
she don't
crazy?
take new clients.
I was the last client she took before she closed her books.
I wanted to go to her too.
Yeah, she opens it up and she's like, don't be putting my name out there, but if I open my books.
But she must have other, older black women friends.
Oh, I could get it.
Ask her, be like, yo, I got a couple referrals here. Like, I got a couple of girls I need help.
She has told me so many things. No, but it's really crazy because when I told her, like, okay, about love and stuff, she goes, yeah, it's because you don't know what love is. She's like, people confuse. You think because you have this feeling, this natural caring for someone, you love them. That's just caring. Love is a choice and a responsibility. There are pillars that uphold love. Like, and if you think about it, right? This is how you know we're so distorted. People confuse attachment and obsession with love, and it ain't it. Because you ever see a lot of the time when someone is with someone toxic, how it destroys them and it sucks the life out of them, but they'll sit here telling you they love you because they might do these certain things, but at the end of the day, it stems down to honesty. Honesty is different than telling the truth, because the fakest person could say the realest shit. You could be a bullshitting truth teller. Honest is how you show up and operate in the space. There's a respect involved. There's a consideration and to really see somebody. And that's why people don't know what love is. Like, people could tell you fear, this, that, definition for everything. You talk about love, you'll see people space shift. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a different definition. That's why for me, I had to get back down to my foundation, because what I was doing right now was like building a mansion on fucking quicksand. It wasn't working. You know, I had to just go back down to the groundwork and redefine everything, my values, my core system.
I like that.
Talked
Building
about
a mansion on quicksand.
I decentered fucking men. I ripped that shit out of my circuit board and I centered myself. And you know what? I would say I centered money, but that's not the case. I centered abundance and wealth.
Vic, by the way, babe, you could pause that.
And open to receiving that in different ways. Yeah. So for me, it was just about getting my hands dirty and literally redefining myself. I literally rebranded myself. Hardest shit ever, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's never too late either.
Never,
Again, like,
never. That's the misconception people have. But you know what it is? This is how it works, right? You tell the universe, oh, you want to change? It's going to say, how bad you want to, baby? What you think? You want patience? You're just going to be patient?
It's going to drop down a test.
Fucking test.
It's going to give you a test.
How bad you want it. And then with working through that, you find it within yourself. And you see what you're really made of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, for example, again, just to bring it back to these fucking bum ass men. So, like, Literally, like for example, I would go right, and I finally learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Right, I learned my lesson. I ain't doing this shit. I ain't falling for it again. Guess who's boo boo the motherfucking fool? Guess who's boo boo the fucking fool? Me. Because as soon as God is like, oh yeah, you learn your lesson, sweetheart. He's a hot motherfucker.
You see, but that's the thing.
Right,
of
right.
the flesh, girl. Of the
Operating
flesh.
in your flesh.
You
For
can't be
all
doing
my
that.
non-believers, y'all may not know what that means. Operating in your flesh. Could we
Remember
explain
we
a little
talked
bit
about
more
that
about
of the
that?
flesh, man. Let me tell you something.
Everything
in
that
the
bounds
world,
you to this world,
yeah, but you know what? I get it. Some I got news for you. There's a lot of beautifully wrapped pieces of shit. All right, like it's just like golden on the outside. You open a straight dookie,
Straight
doo-doo cakes up in that bitch. Y'all good? You can have that.
Straight
so you know what the
shit,
problem
bro.
is too. I feel like a lot of people, and especially in this day and age, they meet things with indulgence that they should be meeting with curiosity. You don't need to. You don't know that be a whole demon, a whole serial killer, and you're like, you're
Yeah,
so hot.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. There are number one. First of all, men are number one predators, baby.
But it's like you said too, it's because people. The reason why people date also, it's
There's a lot of people dating that should not be dating. You're trying to assign
people
someone a
aren't
role.
in dating with intention. You know what I'm saying?
Babes, they're dating to get
That's
their
the issue.
private parts
And not only
touched.
that, I think it was you that mentioned this to me. Like we date to collect data.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Date data.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're just here really learning you. Learning what makes you tick. What's your ins, your out. What's your deepest, darkest secrets. Like, do I actually like you for you, or just do
Or
I
how you
like
make me
you
feel.
because of how you look? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You know what? You know what my therapist said? A crush is
What gems does she say? Come on, let me hear it.
a crush is just a lack of information.
A
and
crush
that
is a lack of
you should
information.
not even like a man until he loves you. That's what she told me.
Damn, man.
I'm like, God damn, girl. Just
That should be
fucking punch me in the face
hard.
next time.
What if I'm busting open?
No, but listen. I'm not gonna tell y'all how to choose to operate with your private parts because we grown, right? But what I will say is that you can't take the same approach to every situation. And I'm not saying you can't sleep with a guy and him not take you seriously. It depends on the individual. But what I'm saying is we need to stop meeting shit with, and if you're just trying to indulge and it's clear across the board, all right, go and do it. But then you meet things with curiosity more, because a lot of the shit people do for the plot, you playing with your life. Oh, I'm gonna do it for the plot. Yeah, nah. I don't do it. I'm too grown to be doing it for the plot. No, because you know what it is too. Another thing that I will say.
It's really easy for me to like get turned off from a guy
You see,
too.
but that's because in the same breath, people be like, "Oh, I'm looking for love, but I lose interest fast." You're not looking for love. You're looking for fucking interest. Hello. And a lot of people that are dating too, y'all got no business dating. You trying to assign a role to somebody that can only come from you. People try to fill voids, and some men looking for practically a mother role that they can bone.
Yeah, they want
women
somebody
looking
to
for
pick 'em
that
up and, like,
daddy.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
nah, you know what? That's why you got to be so rooted in who you are and so solid and all that stuff. And in this day and age, you got to understand there's a lot of men that grew up with men that were like, yo, bro, women couldn't get bank accounts in the 70s. Like, what the hell? They relied on men. So now that we got our
And
own
if
money
you
in
really
motion,
think about it, it's not that far long ago. You know
It's
what I'm
not.
saying?
That's not
it's
far at
within
all.
our parents' lifetime.
Absolutely.
Basically,
So the issue is a lot of men are accustomed to being enticing women with money, but now we're like, okay, well, I got that. So what else do you
bring
have
to the table?
And you know what else I've
Right.
seen too?
Got them scrambling like,
Introducing
oh, shit.
vibes they can't maintain, because a motherfucker will lure you in with all these pretty trinkets and then give you an ultimatum. Don't
Inconsistency.
do that.
Yup.
Don't do that, because I'll
Yup.
air your whole shit out right now, my
Yup.
brother in Christ.
Yeah, my brother in Christ.
Get in here, capo. Some accountability.
Shit.
But yeah, so like I got very clear on that, and
His bro's like, they know what's going on.
They caught on. They know.
and let me tell y'all one more thing too that I've learned. A lot of men cannot stand that I am a smart woman. And listen,
It's intimidating. Like
I
you
look
guys
you
said
in the
before.
eye, but you know what? I'm not like like DMX. I've really stepped into my feminine energy too. I do have a balance, but I'm very much look you in the eye, shake your hand, and ask you what you really meant by that. And they
Yeah.
can't handle that. I've had to look at a man and be like,
It's when you challenge them that makes them like.
it's the ego thing. But a real man is gonna be enticed by that shit. It's only little boy sport that they're like, oh, run away from it, because you know what? Again, that type of shit makes them hold a mirror to themselves. And a lot of men, I listen. Shout out to the men that are doing the work, though. Let me just say that.
My man.
That's her man. Thank
Shout
you,
out to her
man. But yeah, so ever since I've gotten clear on certain stuff, I've just like, I don't yearn for that companionship like I once used to. Like, sure, I don't have this notion. Oh my God, I gotta get married. I'm getting older.
it's
I
just-
completely. Took
I
it
think
out.
it's just very like It's part of the human experience to long for that companionship because we're a communal species. Just how, you know, how, like, for example, wolves travel in pack. Humans, you know, we're you know, we cling on to our family. We cling on to friends. We cling on to a partner. But I feel like it doesn't always have to be, let's say, a romantic partner.
Exact facts.
It could literally be friends that you could, and that's something that I've realized.
Girl.
Because I've always clinged on to the men or wanting that. But then I realized, like, yo, I could literally put, you know, water these flowers, aka my friends, and watch these relationships blossom and grow.
Absolutely.
When I stopped putting so much effort and emphasis into my relationship with men, and I started putting that into my relationship with my friends and my girls, like, it's introduced another element in my life where literally if you got the right people surrounding you, it will fill your cup
absolutely.
up.
Overflow.
Instead of feeling like your cup is half empty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's honestly really what I've been practicing a lot more. Is just really just watering my friendships. Friendships means friendships are so important because you know, again, if you're blessed to have a family and you're close to your family and you have a big family, then you're blessed to have one. But not everyone has.
But that's different than friends, though.
Yeah,
that's
true. But for me, for example, I value friendship very much because I don't have that big of a family. I'm an only child. I don't have a lot of cousins and aunts and stuff that I'm close to. So my external family is my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's why I put so much love and emphasis into my friendships, because I remember I would be that girl that would put all my effort and time into a man, and guess what happens when me and that guy would fight? Or whatever.
Right?
No, there was no friends because I would always put so much time and energy into my man that at the end, when I really looked around, there was nobody else left in the room.
You know what I do that, like, again, I told you how to go to my circuit, like my drawing board and restart. I hold my friendships to a higher standard than I would a romantic relationship, if not equal, because I have found more intimacy, vulnerability, and romance within my homegirls. The best dates I've been on with my homegirls. Best everything I've been on have been with my girls.
Every time I hang out with my girls, I come out
feel
of
like
it
your
on
cup
a high.
overflows.
Like,
so for me, that sets the bar of how a man could treat me. Why my homegirl treating me better than you, and I'm not even giving me the ding-a-ling? Get the hell on, sir. No, you ain't got shit for me. I don't give a crap.
No, literally.
Yeah.
So, like, what habits or routines are you thinking of committing to this year to level up?
I just want to continue with what I'm doing and navigate those waters and see what else I can implement. Like, I'll give you an example. I feel like routine, especially your night routine and your morning routine, are so critical and set the tone for the day. Like, listen, keep in mind, I'm a mom and I have to go to drop my daughter off. I have to travel state to bring her to school, which I know it sounds drastic, but Jersey to New York, you know, but I have to get up in the morning, because when I was doing, I would get up, and I can't do that. I had to get up earlier. I had to pour into myself, and I'm really big. What's radically changed my life, like, I've always had a relationship with God, but working on my mobility, my breath work, and being very intentional and setting the tone for my day has drastically improved the quality of my life for sure. And so I want to keep that up.
So what is one piece of advice that you'd give to someone that feels stuck going into this year?
Damn, that, because I've all been there, man. We've all been stuck. I really remember feeling hopeless and helpless and everything. It's just, everything is a choice. I can't even tell you, it's easier said than done. Get up. You know, if you can't do the same shit and expect different results, that's the legit definition of what insanity is. You gotta do something. And I think a lot of people, what they're scared of, as much as they're scared of failing, they're scared of being great. And people need to stop looking at it as, like, it's a part of learning is fucking up and then tweaking it and learning from it. Because if you're gonna keep fucking up and not learning from it, what are you really doing?
I think a lot of people overestimate what they could do in a year.
Analysis paralysis.
Underestimate what they can do in 3 to 4 weeks or months. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, and I remember hearing about this, like, it takes 21 days to create habits, you know?
For sure.
And for anyone that's watching this and they do feel stuck going into this year, and there's so many things that in their plans that they want to do, they don't know how to start, or they just feel like, you know, lost. Coming from someone that's felt the same way and to this day sometimes struggle with it, I feel like for me, I just take it day by day.
One day at a time.
Because tomorrow's not guaranteed, y'all. You could lose sleep over worrying about tomorrow's problems and you don't even know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one foot in front of the other.
How about we just think about what we're going to accomplish today? How about today we start small? We'll start small habits. Like, how about today I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m? Just an example, I don't know. Or today I'm gonna try to have one healthy meal today. I'm going to try to maybe walk for 10 minutes. I'm going to try to, use 10 minutes of my day to block everything out and journal or listen to music.
Journaling is so helpful.
There's ways to really, come out of that hole that we've dug ourselves into. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I will say, do not live in your mind. Your mind will be your worst enemy sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Your brain will kill you. Are you kidding me?
Yes. So you want to make sure that you're constantly putting in positive thoughts into your brain, positive thoughts, even if you don't believe it. Because again, you're faking you're rewiring your brain. Yeah, because the more and more you tell yourself, even if it's a lie in the beginning, that you're happy, that today's gonna be a good day, that you're in a great mood, guess what? You end up believing that. You end up,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And even, for example, I want everyone right now, boom, take a minute. Everyone in this room, take a minute. Yeah, you guys too.
Everybody in the room.
Audience, please. Take a minute and literally, we about to look like goofballs right now, but just smile.
Giving courage.
Smile. And the only reason I'm having y'all do that is because guess what? You fake a smile, that shit will literally bring about more happiness
absolutely.
to you. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're fucking crying your eyes out and you just had the worst shittiest day, bro, wipe your tear and just just smile away, because guess what? You're gonna end up breaking out laughing. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? I look so crazy right now. You're just gonna end up laughing, because sometimes you just gotta laugh through life. Because sometimes your life is just...
You reminded me of another quote my therapist said. Sorry.
Give me all the quotes. Give me all the quotes.
You're so powerful that if you don't think you're powerful, then you're not.
Yeah.
Perspective. You know, shape. And a lot of us internalize we see ourselves through eyes of people that never really even saw us, and we internalize all of these things. And, I even stems down to our parents. Like I stopped living for my parents. I live for myself. I stopped living for other people and just got very rooted in who I am. Although I can take certain shit into consideration, you're not coming down with me when this is all said and done, so I very much live for myself. Yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, for anyone that's watching this episode, again, give yourself grace. Life is not easy. Sure. It's not meant to be easy. It's just a matter of how you're going to, walk through life. Like, what matters most is how well you walk through the fire. Okay. So with that being said, thank you guys again for, tuning in on another episode. We've fed the mind once again. That's all you always going to get from Food for Thought. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. I really can't wait to see y'all here for the next couple of episodes. And we'll be doing this again this time next year and see how y'all year went. So we're going to be looking back at this video a year from now. And we're going to see where we're at a year. Hopefully, good, nothing but good things ahead. And yeah, babe, thank you again for being on my show. I love you, girlie.
Love you the most.
And yeah, y'all, thanks for tuning in. Mwah, much love. Till next time.